Starting. Hi, it's Mark from Top Local Lead Generation. We're here with Bernie Pollock, Pollock Automotive. We're feeling a little great this morning. How are you doing, Bernie?
Excellent. Excellent.
So 2008, just getting a little bit older, Mercedes S63 AMG, pretty fancy car, suspension repair. What was going on with this car?
Well, the owner came to us. He said he had a problem with his left rear strut, suspension strut. This is an AMG that has the active body control system, so it's a hydraulic suspension. And yeah, there's a problem with the strut. There was some fluid leaking out, and the vehicle wasn't riding too well.
So are there warning lights that get displayed when that's taking place?
Well, sometimes they do. In this case, there were no warning lights, and I'm not sure whether the owner, there's a whole reservoir full of fluid for this system, so if the fluid level gets too low or something happens, it will set off warning lights, and they do set them off quite easily, you know, if they pick up any problem. But there were no warning lights on in this vehicle. I'm kind of surprised. It may be that he topped up the fluid, and you know, the issues were not something that, as long as the fluid was full, it wasn't setting the warning lights off. But you can have with the active body control system, there's a lot of different warning lights that will come, not different lights, but different things that will cause the lights to come on.
Right. So what did you end up replacing?
We replaced the left rear strut. So first we did a diagnosis of the system, the quick electronic test, and then a visual inspection. We found the left rear hydraulic strut was leaking fluid, so we got a replacement unit, put that in, and everything works great after that.
So from our past conversations, different makes of vehicles that have these ABC systems, was this an expensive repair?
Yeah, it is. I'll just show a couple of pictures here. We can have a look at this, look at the suspension strut. But the answer is yes. It's fairly pricey repair. Here's our AMG S63, beautiful car. There's the suspension strut right there. If you look down at the bottom of the strut, which is that sort of narrow tube part, it looks a little oily and dark. That's, I mean, it's painted black, but the oily and dark part, that's where the oil's been leaking out. So anyways, there's seals in that sort of accordion section up above. There's seals and various, you know, spring type pieces, valves, and all sorts of complicated items inside these struts. And there's seals, so they're basically leaking out, and that's what's happened here. So is it expensive? The answer is yes, it was. Back again. To buy this part from the dealer was about almost $4,000, which almost blew me off my seat. These are always expensive from the dealer, but $4,000 for one strut, if you can imagine having to replace all four, that's $16,000 plus installation labor and taxes. It makes for an incredibly pricey job. It's like $20,000 to do the whole car. But we have a source out of the US. They remanufacture these struts. They also do air struts as their specialty, and they do a great job, lifetime warranted, and the part is a fraction of the cost of the dealer. So it still makes for an expensive repair, but much more palatable.
So are remanufactured struts available for many of these kind of high-tech European cars?
They are. They seem to be available for pretty much all of them. This company we deal with, as I said, they made a specialty of repairing these kind of struts, and a lot of air struts. A lot of these vehicles have air suspensions. Mercedes, Land Rovers, of course, we talked about a lot, and a variety of other European cars use these kind of struts. So yeah, they're available for pretty much everything.
So any final thoughts on the repair or ABC systems in general?
Well, on the repair, I mean, one thing with struts is often on a car with conventional type of struts, if one goes on one side, you generally replace both, because the way the suspension system works, you need to do both. But with these electronic systems, there's really no need to do either side. If one's leaking, even whether it's an air strut or a hydraulic strut, you can just replace each individual component as you go, which, you know, certainly when you're paying, you know, $1,400 or $1,500 a strut, you really don't want to be putting more in than you have to. And it doesn't really affect the vehicle. Once you replace the part, it seems to work just fine. So individual corners, you can just do them one at a time. As far as ABC systems, I mean, they're awesome. ABC, by the way, stands for active body control. So what it gives you the ability, the car's set so that when you go around a corner, for instance, the car won't lean. Or if there's some sort of stability issue, like one front part is diving too much, it'll actually pump that strut up in like a fraction of a second. So the car rides well, it's smooth, it improves the safety of the vehicle as well. So when you drive a car that has this system in it, I mean, the handling is incredible, and I don't. To me, it's worth the money if you can afford it.
So if you're looking for service on your high-tech, fancy Euro saloon, or Range Rover, or you name it, basically the guys to call are in Vancouver are Pollock Automotive. You can reach them to book an appointment at 604-327-7112, or check out their website. There's tons of information on there about all kinds of repairs of all kinds of vehicles. PollockAutomotive.com. Thanks, Bernie.
Thanks, Mark.